So I think a lot of people out there, whether they have legitimate platforms or not, have some level of platform, and they tend to say, uh, here's a weakness, here's an opportunity here, here's a player over here who is buried on the depth chart at that particular position. I'm going to connect the two, and then I'm going to phrase it in such a way that makes it actually sound like there is actual contact and interest between those two parties. There's nothing wrong with saying, hey, I think they should go get him or that type of player, that position, because they need it. But people have been making that connection, linking Kienholz to Iowa. So you're telling us there's nothing other than people's speculation that Iowa could use a quarterback. This guy's really good, and he's buried on the depth chart.
I will read from a very good friend of mine who is a preeminent source at Iowa, and I quote, "Zero truth to it. Iowa has no idea where it came from," end quote. I don't know what else I have to say at that point. It angers me that such a horseshit rumor has carried as much weight as it has, because it's not fair to the kids at this point. Yes, they're getting paid. I mean, yes, they're blurring the line between amateurism and professionalism, and you're opening yourselves up to more talk and everything else. But it's not as if this thing has the genesis of this rumor has come even from an ancillary sort of I've heard of person or organization or whatever. It's just the proliferation of white noise from social turning falsehoods into truths, and then I'm sure Lincoln Kienholz is having to sit there and answer stuff for maybe not from us, we're not going to get to talk to him, but from people around him and everything else. And it just we're only a couple of weeks away from the portal. Keep your panties on, everybody. I mean, it's going to get wild here. We're going to see names entering the portal at various schools everywhere that we're not expecting or whatever. But let's slow our roll.
When Caden Proctor announced he was leaving Iowa and going back to Alabama, then everybody was like, is Caleb Downs leaving? And there are rumors out there, and there are people from Alabama contacting, trying to get any truth to that. Like, is this true? Is this really happening? It's like, wouldn't you know if it was? Wouldn't you, as Alabama, know if this was really happening? So, and the thing is, though, the portal breeds this, social media breeds it, and it's kind of the world we're in right now. And there are a bunch of accounts out there where it's frustrating, where you're trying to you're just doing your job, and then you got people hitting you in DMs, hey, have you seen this? Is this real? Is this that and this? And I tell people, if you just look at the source, you can do a lot of research on Twitter just by doing a Twitter search and seeing how far something goes back. And generally you can find the starting point of many rumors. And if they're started by troll accounts or 122 followers, and you look at some of their replies and their tweets and it's just all trash to bashing people and things like that, you can sort of understand, okay, no truth there. So it gets a little frustrating dealing with stuff like that, but it is what it is. And so there's going to be more rumors, and the thing is, there are going to be so many rumors this spring with the portal that I don't know. I don't want to say it's almost safer to believe them, because it's not, but there are going to be some rumors that are unbelievable that will actually absolutely be true.
Before Steve jumps in, I just want to say this. It forces legitimate organizations and personalities to have to address them, because they gain so much steam behind them that you have to come out and write an article or make a message board post or do a show or whatever. And we all have enough stuff to do. We don't have to go out and go snipe hunting. / end of rant.
Yeah, Lincoln would be within his rights to see what's out there, and you wish tampering and everything else is involved in things like this. Guys who haven't entered the portal are not supposed to be contacted in these type things. So, I guess you just kind of look at it and take it all with a grain of salt. And I guess we'll see what happens when spring's over and the portal opens and guys can jump in. So I guess we'll find out next week where things are at.
I mean, I don't expect Ohio State to be carrying 5 quarterbacks going into fall.
Probably not.
But this, Kienholz to Iowa, and somebody posted in the chat, why there? Well, I guess when you grow up in South Dakota and you're an Ice Station Zebra, I mean, Iowa is somewhat close. Iowa certainly has the need for quarterbacking. Cade McNamara has not been able to stay healthy, so we don't know what that might look like, and we certainly don't know whatever the opposite of apocalyptic, whatever this era looks like for Iowa with the departure of Brian Ferentz. Maybe it becomes a little bit more of a quarterback destination. I mean, I guess anything is more than 0, but I don't get it. And if you're a Wiseman, I would just stay away from this one.
League of Kienholz at one time committed to Kalen DeBoer at Washington, but I'm not kicking anybody into the portal. I just wanted to throw that out there just to
DeBoer's revenge.
Chum in the water.
He's a better thrower than Jalen Milroe. I'll just say that right now.
My last little slice on this, going back to the more big topic picture of what Kevin addressed, is I will put some level of responsibility, although there are all sorts of non-credible sources and platforms and YouTube channels. Go back to what Rick Riley once said when I was at a luncheon with him, and he said the great thing about the internet is everybody's got a platform, and the horrible thing about the internet is everybody's got a platform, because knuckleheads are out there that have no idea what they're talking about, or not journalists in any such way. I do not promote myself to be a journalist, but I was at one time, so I know the approach. I will put it at the feet of the viewer and the listener, though, at times, because we've all been victim to, you did not listen to what I presented. You did not listen. You looked at a title, or you heard a name here and a name here, and then you were not listening. You were not paying attention. I did not say that. I did not report that.
Well, I mean, really quick, the thing is that if you do a show that is based on engagement, which what we're doing here on YouTube or what's on ABC, or I mean, you want viewership, so you have to address the stuff that's out there. But having to amplify these things sucks, because you don't know where it's coming from, and we're going to talk about it or whatever, but it's a vicious cycle. And I had to stand outside with the dog in the rain for 10 minutes earlier while she was deciding if she wanted to go to the bathroom or not, so I'm already in a bad mood. But I have had to answer the Kienholz question no less than 200 times in the last week, and it takes away from my opportunity to do anything that is based in fact. If you end up having to do a show about it, that's a show that you're having to do a show on something that may do crazy numbers or whatever, but it's going to be looked back upon. It's like, well, at least we did crazy numbers there, even though it was, herky, 41-41 that put this thing out there, and he's FOS, since I've already hit my quota of swear bombs that I can drop on the show. He's FOS.
I would like to reallocate my curse words over to Kevin. So,
well, Steve uses most of mine through other weeks, so I had to get in first.
Duh.
Steve is the all-time leader, I guess.
Yeah, I've dropped a couple in my day.
You're still way under the quota. People overestimate my quota.